Hello and welcome to the Faded Wildflower Crochet. My name is Rachel and I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be reviewing a crochet kit from the company HiCrochet. If you've never heard of HiCrochet before, they make these really unique crochet kits. Some of them you squeeze them and it has a little bubble that comes out. They have some that do like a little singing and dancing thing. It's so cute. I've never seen any crochet kits like these before. For today's video, I'm going to be reviewing one of their walking plushies. You make the little plushie and then it has a little mechanism in it that makes them walk, which I just think is so cute. So I want to be completely transparent with you guys and let you know that HiCrochet did reach out to me and kindly gift me 2 of their kits. But all of the opinions in this video are completely my own. I always want to be really honest with you guys about the things that I review on this channel. That's really important to me. So I just wanted to give that disclaimer up top. So for today's video, we are going to be making this cute little piggy, and then I'm going to be reviewing this one over on Instagram. So be sure to keep an eye out for that. And I'm really excited because I had my kids pick out which walking plushies they liked the most from the website, and these are the ones that they picked. So I'm really excited to make these and then show them to my kiddos. Okay, here is what the packaging looks like from the outside. You can see right here that it says that it's an intermediate crochet kit. They do have different levels on their website. They have more beginner-friendly ones, then they have the intermediate ones, and then they also have more advanced ones. So this is an intermediate kit, and you can see here on the back, we can get a little bit of a glimpse of everything that we have inside, and I am so excited to open this up, so let's go ahead and do that. Here is everything that it comes with. This is the little card for the pattern, so you have to use the little QR code and use your pattern that way. We have some stuffing here. I think this is glue, which we will get to in a little bit. Then there's some embroidery thread. And then here is our crochet hook, which it is a 2mm crochet hook, which I feel like is very small. And a lot of times kits come with a hook that's too big for my particular tension. So I'm happy to see that this is a small hook, and I'm happy to see that it has a grip on it. That's really cool. And then we have our little baggie of stuff in here, the little bow tie. We have some stitch markers. It looks like the eyes are glue-on eyes instead of safety eyes. So that's interesting. We will see how that goes. And then we have the little walking mechanism here. And then we have our yarn needle, which is a metal yarn needle, which is awesome. And then we have our yarn here. And it is a pretty thin yarn, and it is a chenille yarn, which I'm actually really impressed to see that this comes with a chenille yarn. We will see how easy this is to work with because you know chenille yarns, sometimes they break, sometimes they shed, so we will see. So let's go ahead and download our pattern and start working on this guy. Okay, I hope this angle is all right. I did go ahead and take a little bit of a look at the pattern, and off the bat, I'm noticing just a couple of things that... Lily's itchy. Can you see her back there? A little bit. So I did notice a couple of things in the pattern that were a little bit troublesome. I did notice that you have to use glue to glue on a lot of the elements, which I guess I just really didn't pay attention to. I don't know if it said in the description, but I'm not a glue kind of girl. It really just gives you like this glue stick, which I feel like a terrible crafter, but I don't even own a glue gun. I used to own one, but I just never really used it. I'm not even sure what happened to it. So I just have a glue stick, and I don't really have any other type of glue to use. So that is a little bit troublesome. And also these little eyes and like beads and stuff like don't have a way that you can sew them on. Once we get to that section of the pattern, I may end up using like my own safety eyes, and I can definitely sew on the little bow tie. But with the beads, I'm not really sure what I'm going to be able to do about that. So yeah, like I said, once we get to that part of the pattern, I'll make some decisions, but until then, let's go ahead and get started on the crochet. Here is how far I've gotten. You can see the little body there and the little feet. So you do work on the feet as you go, which I know a lot of people like that. And I actually like the way this pattern did that, where you work it in the post of the stitch instead of just in a regular stitch. And I think it's really cute, but I think I may have found a typo in the pattern because it said PC for one of the little feet, and then for the other one it said VPC. And I don't know if that was a typo because I even looked back through the like abbreviations of the stitches that you would be using, and I didn't see that. So I don't know if that was just a mistake in the pattern. I just did them the exact same way. It has fuzz on it. You can see that this has like a pretty good stitch definition. However, I do feel like with a chenille yarn, it's never going to have as good a stitch definition as something like worsted weight yarn. But this is an intermediate pattern, so I'm unsure if their beginner patterns have a yarn where you can see the stitches a little bit easier. But honestly, it's not too bad overall. And I will say that this yarn so far is really, really easy to work with. Of course, I haven't sewn with it yet, and I haven't frogged it. So I should probably do a frog test at some point to see if it sheds. But so far, so good. I really like the colors for this pack. I think it's really, really cute. And also, the crochet hook is very nice as well. I am having no issues with this crochet hook. It is a huge improvement over the last two crochet kits that I've tried, where one of the hooks was bending and the other one snapped. So this is a huge improvement. You can see right there. It's really nice. Little grip on it. No issues there so far. I'm almost to the point where I have to put in the little walking mechanism. So I'll check in with you guys in a little bit, but I just wanted to give my observation so far that, like I said, it is a pretty easy pattern to follow, but I do feel like there was either a mistake or I'm missing something. So let's keep working on this guy. I finished the body and we have the little mechanism all in there and everything. And it was a little bit fiddly, I'm not gonna lie. They do have you like crochet around this little knob here, which I do think is a very clever way to keep the mechanism in place, but it was a little bit fiddly to work around the little feet there. It was a little bit hard, but not too bad overall. I mean, it could have been worse, I will say that, but it is done. I'm happy to have kind of like the hard part done. I do think I found another typo in the pattern. It says leave in ends instead of weave in ends. At least I think that's what it meant. I did weave in the ends. I didn't leave them in. So I did weave in the ends, and I am actually happy to report that this yarn does not shed. That is really amazing. So I weaved in the ends and worked it through several stitches, and I did not have any shedding, maybe just like a tiny little speck. Not bad at all. I'm really happy to see that. I will say though, I'm happy that the yarn needle is metal, but it's a little bit too big for the stitches. Like it was a little bit hard to get through the stitches. Just for me personally, I would use a smaller one, but this is a much better improvement over a plastic yarn needle. I will say that. So I am happy that we have the little body done, and you can see that my tension was not the best. Can you hear it? It kind of like wants to start like revving up the motor. Can you hear that? So it was a little bit hard to work around, but it was only a few rounds that you had to do that. But I'm happy that we have the body done, and now we have to do the little head. And I will say that, like I said, my tension was not the best. You can see a few gaps in my work, but I'm trying not to be too much of a perfectionist about that, but overall the yarn was pretty easy to work with. Not too many complaints so far, just a few typos in that pattern, but I'm going to go eat some lunch and then we will finish up this guy. I got to make the little head, and like I said, I got to make some decisions about what to do with the eyes and the little buttons and stuff. So I may have to go through my crafting supplies and see if I have some glue. I'm not 100% sure if I have glue or not. I may see if we have some. I kind of just wish that it came with more like adhesive strips or something like that, which I think it did say on the pattern itself adhesive strips. So maybe it used to come with adhesive strips and now it just comes with the glue stick. I know mailing glue, I think glue is like one of those things that like you're not supposed to mail. I could be wrong about that, but anyway, so I understand them not wanting to mail glue, but I am gonna have to just go through my stash of craft supplies and see if I have any. But anyways, first of all, I'm gonna go eat some lunch and then I'll check in with you guys in a little bit. Here is what I have. As you can see, I did decide to just use some safety eyes that I had in my stash, and I think it was the right way to go, honestly. Like I said, I'm just not someone who keeps a lot of glue in my stash, and plus I'm specifically making these for my children, and so I really want them to be able to play with them without having to worry about any of the stuff popping off, any of the eyes or the buttons or anything. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I use the safety eyes. I am going to sew on the little necktie, and I'm just going to leave the buttons off because they don't have like a loop that I can sew them through. So it is a little bit disappointing, but ultimately it'll still be cute without it. So, and I have to say that earlier I was showing my daughter the way that it was going so far, and I was like, look how cute, and it can walk. And then I realized that I had put this little mechanism on backwards so that the feet were facing the wrong way from where the little hands are. And so it was walking backwards. I was like, oh no. I did end up having to take it out and redo it, and now it's going to be walking the correct way. So I did have to end up doing the like hard fiddly part twice because of my own mistake. So if you do this kit, make sure that your feet are facing the right way so that you don't have to do it twice like me. The only other problem that I have run into so far is with the little cheek shaping, which I think the cheek shaping makes it so darn cute. But the way that the pattern was written up, it was a little bit confusing, and I felt like the cheeks weren't in the same space as they were in the photo. So I did have to end up adjusting it a bit. And that does mean that I did quite a bit of frogging while I was adjusting it. And I'm happy to say that this yarn does not shed while frogging or fall apart or anything like that. I was really impressed with that. So that is really nice. But yeah, the pattern was a little bit confusing, and I don't know if maybe, again, I was missing something, but overall, I do like the pattern. We'll talk more about that in a little bit, but I do now need to do the ears and the nose and then sew on the little bow tie, and we'll be done. I am so excited. I think it's turning out so cute. So I will check in with you guys, I think, when he's all done. So what are you going to name your little pig?
Mr. Bacon.
Mr. Bacon. And what rating do you give him?
10 out of 10.
Okay, you heard it here first. 10 out of 10 for Mr. Bacon. Okay, our little cutie is done. So I have to say that when I was working on the ears, I got a little bit confused. And so what I did was I went on to the linked video tutorial, and it helped me figure out how to do the ears. It was just a stitch I wasn't familiar with, and that helped me a lot. Because I don't think I mentioned earlier that you get a link to the pattern, which is a written pattern that also includes a lot of photos. which is typically the way that I like to consume my patterns, is with a written pattern that does include photos. But there is also a video tutorial that walks you through step by step. Now, I didn't watch the entire video tutorial. I only watched that one little section. But the section that I did watch was to music, and it's just showing you the stitches. And it does have the pattern kind of written up on the screen as you go. So if that is how you prefer to learn, it does have a video tutorial, but as far as I know, there's not anyone speaking. So if you do prefer to learn by video, there is a video available. But like I said, I don't think there is a person speaking. I think it is only done through video and with the written pattern on the screen as you go. So let's talk some pros and cons of our little walking piggy. So the first pro is that you get plenty of material to work with. I had quite a bit left over of the yarn and the stuffing and the embroidery floss for the nose. There was plenty left over of all of those things. In fact, I think you could probably even make another little piggy from the supplies that you get. And I have to say, the supplies that you do get with this kit are so good. I absolutely love this yarn. I was a little bit nervous when I saw that it was a chenille yarn that you were supposed to be doing this kit with, because chenille yarns are notorious for falling apart, for shedding, for not being the easiest to work with. But this chenille yarn was so easy to work with. I really enjoyed working with it. The end result is so soft. I had to frog a few times and it didn't fall apart. With the sewing, it didn't shed. I was so impressed. I really, really liked that. Another thing that I really liked was the crochet hook. In fact, I think I will just be adding it to my collection and using it when I need a 2mm crochet hook, which I have to say is not too often. I don't typically work with thin yarns that often, but this crochet hook was so nice. I really enjoyed that it was like a good quality crochet hook that came with this kit. Another pro is that the pattern itself, the design of the pattern, is so cute. I think it's adorable, and it is a low sew pattern, I guess you could call it. You do have to sew on the ears and the snout, but the rest of it you just crochet on. And you guys know, if you've been watching my channel, that I don't typically love no sew patterns, or I haven't really liked the ones that I've done in the past. Not to say that I don't like them, it's just not what I prefer. I do tend to prefer to sew pieces on because it does give you a little bit more control. With this one, I do think that the low sew design was really nice. It was easy to follow. I didn't have any troubles with getting things in the right place, except for that I put my little walking mechanism on backwards, but I think that was more user error on my part. Okay, now let's talk cons. There's really only a couple. The biggest con for me is that you had to glue on the eyes and all of the other little accessories. And it didn't come with glue that I could use. It only came with a glue stick, and I don't have a glue gun. So that was the biggest disappointment for me. I wish I could have realized that I needed to have some fabric glue on hand. I actually looked through my stash of craft supplies, and I actually had some fabric glue, but it was so old that it was like not usable anymore. So I just was not able to have that function. And I'm just personally not someone that likes to glue on items to my amigurumi, especially when I'm going to gift this to a child. So I did just end up making it work for me. I had some safety eyes on hand, and I was able to sew on the little necktie. So it did work out okay, but I was a little bit disappointed in that. So it's just something to keep in mind, that if you don't have a glue gun, you may want to have some fabric glue. And if you don't like gluing like me, then you may want to have some safety eyes on hand and some clear thread to sew on your little bow tie. Another con for me is that there were a couple of mistakes in the pattern, or just kind of like typos. You could tell that whoever wrote this pattern can obviously make a really, really cute design, but I think it just needed to be like tech edited by somebody, because the pattern itself made sense. Like all the stitches made sense for the most part. I did have to adjust the cheeks a little bit, and I did have to end up adjusting the nose a little bit, which I don't think I said, but I did add a couple extra rows to the nose because it was just a little bit too small. It didn't quite look like the picture to me, but those were kind of minor adjustments. Everything else was really easy to understand for the most part, but yeah, there were a couple of typos that weren't a huge deal. I was still able to understand what they meant, but I think that it could benefit from somebody tech editing it, going through and making sure that there's no typing mistakes, no spelling mistakes, and that kind of thing. Overall, I think I'm really, really happy with this end product. I think it's super, super cute. It works. It does walk a little bit wonky, but that just adds to the charm in my opinion. Like I mentioned in my intro, I've never seen any crochet kits like this. So I would recommend these kits if you're looking for something really, really unique. They have so many. I will put a link down below and a little discount code that you guys can use if you're interested in trying any of the HiCrochet patterns. And I hope you have fun going through the website and just seeing all of the different silly and cute designs that they have on there. There's so many funny ones. So like I said, this will be linked down below with a little discount code if you guys are interested in purchasing one for yourself. I had a lot of fun, and be sure to check on Instagram where I'm going to be making the little bunny for my other daughter. So you have to let me know what you thought about today's video. Have you ever tried a HiCrochet kit? Do you like crochet kits in general? This is only the third crochet kit that I have ever tried, and it is definitely the best one by far. I have videos of the other two that I made, and if you like watching me be frustrated, then you'll enjoy watching those videos. If you did like today's video, then be sure to hit the like button. You can subscribe and stick around. Let me know what other kind of videos you want to see next. You can follow me on Instagram, which is The Faded Wildflower. I also have an Etsy shop where I sell patterns as well as custom plushies. And again, thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.